If you're over 40, then there's a good chance that you're going to experience some back pain at some point in your life. Maybe you're experiencing some back pain right now. Perhaps in the mornings, it's a bit stiff, it's sore after sitting for too long, or maybe you're just nervous about doing something outrageous like bending down and trying to tie up your shoelaces. Well, the solution that you might think is perhaps resting, stretching it out, or just hoping it's going to get better. But actually, that's not really the case. And the solution often is to strengthen the lower back. So in today's video, I'm going to review this piece of kit right here. This is the Freak Athlete Hyper Pro. And it's a 9-in-1 machine, but I'm going to review it from a perspective of rehab, not just for the lower back, but hips, hamstrings, lower body essentially. So by the end of this video, hopefully you'll get a good idea of whether you think this piece of kit deserves a place in your home gym or just your home. Over the last 15 years, I have treated thousands of patients with pain as an osteopath. So I know what I'm talking about when it comes to pain, and I've rehabbed a lot of patients. So I know what equipment works, what is needed, and I will be able to explain whether I think this is worth it from a rehab perspective. So first of all, what is the Freak Athlete Hyper Pro? Well, this is a large piece of kit, as you can see. Right now it's in storage mode. It stores vertically. I'm 5'9", so you can see roughly where it comes to on my height. If we take it down onto the floor, so I'm going to grab it, push it away, and then lower it down. It is a fairly heavy machine. So if you are experiencing lower back pain, I would suggest you just keep it in one position. Over here we have a storage leg, so we're just going to pull that and clip it out of the way. Now, the Freak Athlete, when I was moving into this facility here, this is my home gym, I knew I needed to have a 45-degree back extension. For me, that is the most important piece of kit for keeping my lower back strong. There's a few other exercises that this can do that I have never done previously to having this. So when I was looking, I was prepared to spend about £300 on buying a back extension machine. But when I saw this and saw what else it can do, I knew I had to get this. So let me show you what it can do. You could use this for Nordic curls. I will show you some Nordic curls in a regressed manner because quite frankly, I can't do it in this position. I mean, I can try and show you, but it's not going to look pretty. So a Nordic curl essentially is locking your feet into place and bringing yourself down as low as you can, and then bringing yourself back up. Now I can't do one properly, and I certainly can't do many more than that. So let's bring it up into a 45-degree back extension mode, because this is the thing that's really going to be essential for lower back pain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab the front, I'm going to pull this grey knob here and pull it up. Now that's unlocked it, but I want to bring it up into 45 degrees. So I'm going to open this green one and lift it all the way up until it clicks into 45 degrees. Over here we have different degree increments: 45, 40, 35, 30, 25, and 20. It can go lower than that, and that would be using this little handle here. It will notch into one of these: 15, 10, and 5 degrees. But for now, we're just going to keep it into back extension. To get it into the back extension mode, we need to take off this pad here. So I'm going to undo this yellow knob. As you can see, there's quite a few different moving parts. There is a bit of a learning curve to this, and it can seem quite daunting if you're not used to this type of equipment. Once you've used it a few times, it's actually not that bad at all. You will get used to it. So I'm going to unlock these. This will bring out the pads a little bit wider, so it just makes it more comfortable, particularly for the guys. Then I'm going to bring this down to number 6 for me, and then I'm going to lock it into place. This is a pretty sturdy piece of kit. When I first saw this, I thought this might be a bit wobbly, a bit loose, a bit poorly made, but actually there is a tiny bit of wobble, but it's sturdy, very sturdy. So into a back extension, we can come down and up. Now I do my lower back extensions, or my 45-degree extensions, by working my lower back. Now some of the keyboard warriors will probably say I'm doing it wrong. What they like to do is to do it like this, so it's working from the hip. Now I disagree. I think both of those are legit techniques, but if you want to strengthen your lower back, you need to be working your lower back. You need to be flexing and extending from the lower back. However, that's a topic for another day. So anyway, that's the 45-degree back extension. From here, we can go into a few other exercises as well. So now I'm going to bring these in, tighten them up, and now we're going to do some QL raises. So again, if you've got lower back pain, not only do we want to work our erectors in our lower back, we want to work our obliques and our QL muscles as well. So from here, we can do some side raises. So we can come side to side and do both sides. Now, when you're rehabbing, it is really important to be working your hamstrings. So as I've shown you earlier, you've got the Nordic curls. So I'm going to show you the regressed version of a Nordic curl right now. So I'm going to bring this back up into the position that allows the pad to go back on. This is going to go in here. It slots in, grab the yellow one, lock it into place. And now we're ready for the Nordic curls. So again, we're going to get our feet back into position. So this is more appropriate for beginners, more appropriate for those who are not as strong. So I'd go so far as using this on weaker people, elderly, beginners. So from here, you can come all the way down and up. Obviously, if you need to assist yourself, you can push on the handles and up. By doing this, we're building stronger hamstrings. We're working the hamstrings by using knee flexion. So the knee is bending. The other way to strengthen your hamstrings is through hip flexion. So like this. And that will be from the back extensions in the variation where you can bend from the hips. And there's a few other techniques we can do on here as well. So from here, if we got stronger, we can then, we can make it harder and harder by taking this down lower and lower. Another really important exercise that you might want to do as part of your rehab is hip thrusts. So over here at the front, we have a bar. So I've taken this retaining pin out. I can now lift up this bar here. This will clip back in. And then what I do is I grab the foot pad from over here and I can place that over here. This will go down and you can adjust the height that you can have this at as well. So it's very adjustable. Quite often when you're doing hip thrusts or single leg hip bridges, whatever it is, you might just be using a bench, and the benches will only have certain fixed heights. So this makes it very easy to adjust. Let's move this so you can see a bit better. Now you might be able to see right now, it is a little bit wobbly. That's fine. We can adjust that by turning this red knob and locking that into place. And now there's still a tiny bit of wobble, but actually that's pretty sturdy. So from here, I can then go into hip thrusts and I'll show you that in some different footage. Now, one of the other really cool pieces of kit that comes with it, well, it doesn't come with it, you can have as an upgrade, is the leg developer attachment. So I'm going to put that on for you now, show you what that looks like. So we can unscrew this red knob here, take out the pin, take off this. We'll put this back on over here. Let's get that around there and lock this back in place. So when we want to use the leg developer attachment, we need to bring this into a different position. So I'm going to bring this up and then we'll bring this side down to 20 degrees. and lock that into place. Now I'm going to open up these hip pads, lefty loosey, and then lock them back in. So over here we have the leg developer. That is the leg developer right here. On their website it says it takes them 5 seconds. Now if you're an expert, you probably can do this in 5 seconds, but it is a tiny bit fiddly and it doesn't take me 5 seconds, it takes probably about 15. All you have to do is line this up over here and then slide it into place. And there's a little red lever, you pull that down. And there's a little safety bar here. I'm just going to pop that down. And then that's all locked in. So now we've got the leg developer attachment. Now this piece of kit is brilliant. What we're going to do is we're going to put a plate onto the end over here. And I'll show you what the quad extensions look like. So I'm going to get myself into the machine and bring myself in. If you're doing this with a lightweight, I would suggest you take this off, and I'll show you now. So I'll unscrew this, because when you're doing the quad extensions, if this is on, it can potentially hit you in the chest. So a little bit of a warning, but actually if the weight's heavy enough, it hasn't done that for me yet, but I've seen other people that's happened to. So leg extensions is this. So if you're rehabbing your knee, or you have got just some lower body injuries and you want to strengthen, doing your quad extensions is a really good way of getting that strength through your quads without having to do something like squats, which it maybe involves your back. Now, if I want to do hamstring curls, I need to adjust the bench. So all I'm going to do, unlock the safety clip. I'm going to bring this lever back up. Then all I need to do is drop this end down. And I'm going to do that using the blue one. Now that's locked into place. And from here, I can come into my lying hamstring curls. So I'm here. And it feels really good. One thing I was not sure would be good is this piece of kit, but the angle of this plate loaded bar is at about 10 degrees, something like 10 degrees. So when it's at the bottom position, there's always resistance from the very moment that you start lifting off all the way up to the top. Now, when you buy this, it comes with, well, it doesn't actually come with, unless they've changed it, but it didn't used to come with an upper body kit as well. So you can attach these to here, and now that gives you the ability to do some upper body exercises. So for example, I could do rows, bicep curls, single arm rows. There's loads you can do. You have to be a bit creative. What I would say is that if you're a beginner to exercise and you're not familiar with, I don't know, single arm rows, free bicep curls, whatever, face pulls, all this sort of stuff, if you're not familiar with that, then it might be a bit hard for you to figure out. If you're already familiar with exercises like that, then it's a nice addition. The straps feel really good. I thought they would be a bit naff, but actually they're strong, they feel sturdy, and on them they have some, well, they have different lengths for the carabiners, and they have Velcro as well. So where you put your carabiner here, you can secure the free bit of strap just by sticking it down with some Velcro. So it just keeps it nice and tidy. Now, while we're on the subject of the legs, it also comes with these handles. Now this is the one thing that lets this piece of kit down. These handles are here for when you're doing your leg extensions, your quads, and you're supposed to hold on to these, but they don't really stay put. So they tend to slip out a little bit. And I just find myself just using the bench to hold on to. So I tend not to use these. It's a nice thought, but if in a future development or future version, they could use a magnet, or they use some sort of clip spring pin, something like that, just to secure it into place, or even like a bayonet type fitting where you can rotate it. Just something that's going to clip it into place and make it more sturdy. Now, if we just take this off again, as you can see, easy peasy, we need to take the weight off. I've just undone the lever. So now that I've undone the lever, I've undone the clip here at the front. This will literally just slide off, and then you can put it somewhere else for storage. There's one other thing that comes with this. This is the GHD attachment. So this is if you want to do glute ham raises, which I'll show you, or if you want to do reverse hyperextensions. So what that looks like, and the reason why you might want to do this, is because it will strengthen your hamstrings and your lower back. So we're going to undo the yellow one here, take this off, and then this one, the long side going forward, will clip onto here. Done. Secure that into place by rotating the knob, and there you have the GHD attachment. Now this is going to need to go up higher, so I'm going to take this up, hold on to this side, and take up the green one. So if you want to work your lower back, we can come onto here. This will actually need to go in a bit more, so I'm going to bring that to about 7 or 6, and then we can come over the top of this and start working lower back. Now, one of the common things I hear from other reviewers about this piece of kit or this exercise is that it's not a true reverse hyperextension. A true reverse hyperextension would have some sort of pendulum with weight, so you've got more resistance. Now, from a rehab point of view, we don't need that. We just need something that will activate our lower back and strengthen it to get it back to a more normal state. So if you want to increase the resistance on this exercise, you can use leg weights. You could attach some resistance bands to this hook just over here, and that will help. Personally, I have never needed to do that in terms of strengthening my lower back. So this actually is perfectly fine just to come up like this. So I don't need that momentum like you would get in a true reverse hyperextension. In terms of the build quality, most of this machine is made of metal, which does make it heavy. I like some of the features that or some of the details that they put in. So for example, on the back foot plate, there's some nice knurled handles, not only to help lift up the machine, but also to hold on to when you're doing things like your reverse hyperextensions or leg raises, that kind of stuff. So the build quality from the frame itself is very nice. The material, well, the padding is firm but comfortable. The lining that they've put on it is a vinyl of some sort. It feels possibly slightly weak or slightly thin. So if this was being used as a commercial piece of equipment, this would probably be the first thing to wear out. From a home gym perspective, if it's just you and your family using it, I don't see any reason why this would wear out too quickly. It feels good. That's the build quality. The assembly is super easy. You assemble this all yourself, but it comes in very easily labeled bags. So every step has step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and each step of the way you're following a video where they're showing you exactly what to do on that step. So anyone could assemble this. The caveat to that being that some of it is a little bit heavy. So if you are a 75-year-old, 100-pound lady, then it might be a bit more tricky. For the average person, 40s, 50s, 60s, this would be absolutely fine. The learning curve to this is perhaps a bit daunting. Once you've used it for a while, it's actually fine. There's good instructions on the website. From a rehab perspective, would I recommend this piece of kit? If you have space at home, yes, I would recommend this. The most important piece of kit for me is the 45-degree back extension. Without that, my back just does not feel strong. And the good thing about that is you can progress that with added weight. But then of course you've got the other exercises that go along with it, so you can increase the variety and the difficulty because of the different angles. If you were going to spend say $300 or £300 on a single back extension machine, you might as well just, well, this is under £1,000 all in now, I believe, on the website. So you might as well get 9 machines for a little over what you'd pay for just one machine. Does it do everything as well as a commercial gym piece of kit? Probably not, no. But is it good enough for an average fitness enthusiast? Yes. Is it ideal for someone who's doing rehab? Definitely. I would 100% recommend this piece of kit as the only piece of kit if you're trying to rehab your knees or your lower back or even your hips. If this piece of kit is interesting to you or you're thinking about buying it, would you like to see some sample workouts for this? If you do, let me know in the comments below if you want to see some sample workouts or a guide on how you can use this specifically for certain rehab exercises. Going back to the rehab, would this be appropriate for everyone with lower back pain? No. As you may have seen in previous videos of mine, there are 3 phases, in my opinion, to your rehab. There's phase 1, 2, 3. Phase 1 is to reduce the pain and inflammation. Phase 2 is to restore flexibility and mobility. And phase 3 is to build strength and stability. So if you're in phase 1 and your back pain is acute and it's a high level of pain, then no, you do not want to be using this. If you're moving into phase 2, there are certain things you can introduce, but the real magic is when you start getting to phase 3 and you're trying to strengthen those tissues. So anyone who is trying to strengthen their lower back, regardless of whether you're in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s even, there are things that you can do with this. Just be careful when you're using this. It is a heavy piece of kit. So if you need to have someone helping you, then make sure there's someone around. Other than that, I hope that this review has been good enough for you to decide if this is something you want in your home gym. If it is and you decide that you want to buy one of these, please use the link in the description. It will give me a slight commission at no extra expense to you, but it will help out this channel and it will help me to do more projects like this in the future. So good luck with your lower back rehab or any other rehab. If you have any questions, drop them in the comment section below.